Hello, YouTube. It is your girl, Cherokee Bella. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming to my channel. I know you do not see me in the camera just yet. I'm still trying to work all of this out, but I wanted to introduce you and kind of let you know what this channel is going to be about. So, I have been tasked by my ancestors to reconnect the indigenous to our original tribes, our history, our customs, things we did. Um, if you have been following me on Instagram or you follow me on TikTok, you know that I create content surrounding the real American Indian, which are the so called Black people of America. Okay. Now, let me be clear on something. I'm sorry about that, but let me be clear on something. When I'm talking about Black Americans, I'm talking about, I guess you can call it foundational Black Americans, the people who built America. Okay. We are finding more and more and more history that we are actually indigenous to the Americas. All right. And I just want to share with you a TikTok video that I made just talking a little bit about my family history. I'm also referencing a cigar store Indian that is located at I can't think of the name of the museum, but it's a museum that's in Virginia. I don't know if you all know, but a lot of our history is locked up in museums. I have to say, I'm not new to being on social media, but I'm kind of someone that pops in and pops out. I'm a Scorpio. When I pop out, I normally get like a nice amount of attention. And then I'll, you know what I mean, revert back to going back to my quiet place where no one can no one can see me. I guess that's a Scorpio thing. All right. But I popped out a little bit on TikTok and I was talking about the cigar store Indian that's in the museums and how there's other videos that talks about that statue being a statue of Chief Powhatan. Okay. Now, if you know anything about American Indian history and the Powhatan Confederation, you know that Chief Powhatan was the father of Pocahontas. Pocahontas is not even her real name, but these were dark skinned people. Okay, so on this channel, what I'm going to be doing is helping my people understand that we are Aborigine, we are Aboriginal, we are indigenous to North America. Okay. It's the same for the Central Americas. It's the same for the Caribbean islands, the entire North American continent. We have always been here. Okay, there's always been super melanated, copper colored uh, Indians on that landmass. No one brought us over here. Okay. So we are going to be doing a lot of debunking. I'm going to try to keep my channel as entertaining as possible, but also informative. Okay. I know that sitting through this knowledge is not always fun, but it is. I am joining the fight and helping reconnect my people to their land because that's what we all deserve. We are tired of being disrespected by everyone. Okay. We are tired of that. When we actually built America, this is not hate speech or anything, but we deserve something. We deserve our land back. We deserve respect. We deserve more than what has been given to us. We are not uh, foreigners that was dragged over here on slave ships from Europeans bringing us in. That is not who we are. And that has been so deep within our psyches because we've been taught lies. Okay. There was literally a whole psyop to get us thinking this way. But now we're starting to wake up from that slumber, and so many things are changing. The people are finally realizing who they are. And I have to say, to the Native American community, I'm going to say this now before anybody even says anything rude in my comments, I'm blocking and deleting anyone's comments that are negative or that are not conducive to what I'm trying to teach. If you are Native American, you need to acknowledge the truth. I understand that many of your people did not tell you that you did not come here first and that Black people were here first and that we are the original indigenous that were found here. The copper colored races that were found here by the settlers that came here in the 1400s did not find you. They did not find light skinned, straight hair Indians here. They didn't find you all, people. Okay. So I'm really going to need for you all to really understand that you all, you put so much hate messages on, videos like mine and other people on TikTok that's just trying to teach our history. That's literally all we're trying to do is teach our history. And you all are so upset about it. You're so mad about it. Like you are calling us names. You don't want to see our sources. You don't want to do anything but fight and argue. And when we do debate you, you don't even make sense. So what you really should do is take in the information and keep it moving and understand, okay, this is what happened. We weren't first here. It doesn't mean erasure. It doesn't mean that your people are not important, but there are people that were on this landmass before you. Those are the original owners of this landmass. Actually, our Most High is the original owner. Nature is the original owner of this. But when it comes to the people, our people were always here. You all seem to forget the fact in the science that everything derived from dark skinned people. Okay? Everything in every species, every person derived from a dark skinned person. You all tend to forget that. And you take on the identities of your colonizing forefathers, telling y'all and telling us that we are not who we say we are and that we're from Africa. When we are telling you all, we have been through our records. You guys want to throw DNA tests at us. That doesn't matter. We have been through our records, legal records, not pseudo information from Charles Darwin talking about everyone came from Africa. We've been through our records, people. And our records are pointing us to the Americas. History shows when those first settlers came through this island, Turtle Island, okay? They saw people who were dark skinned, full featured. Some people had straight long hair, some people had short hair, some people had nappy hair, some people had curly hair, some people had straight hair. The way that my people look today, they are all different type of complexions. They have all different type of features. Dream. I'm sorry. They have all different type of features and they have all different type of hair textures. And that's how we looked when they first arrived here. Okay? We have oral histories of our family lineage, just like everyone else. And none of those lineages ever tied us to Africa. None of those oral histories ever talked about being in Africa. That is an identity that we were forced to take on that we've always known that was wrong. So anyway, my daughter's acting up, but I'm going to go ahead and drop my TikTok video in here. You all watch, comment, and subscribe, and I'll have more content coming up for you. Thank you so much. OCO and good morning, TikTok. I'm here because I wanted to jump in on this conversation about the Black Indians, okay? Or Black people being indigenous to the Americas. I want to speak more on that because I literally have a passion for genealogy and research. And I do see where so many of us are actually getting in on this conversation. But I see it going really left, you know what I mean, with the Native American community and with a lot of the Pan-African community. They are really going against this information that Black people, so-called Black people, are indigenous to the Americas. So I wanted to start off by sending love to all communities, okay? My video that I want to make, it has nothing to do with wanting to or attempting to erase another people or deny any possible facts of having African ancestry, okay? I don't deny that it's possible that I have African ancestry, but I also am not going to deny the fact that I know for a fact the majority of my ancestors were in fact indigenous to the Americas, and I have proof. I want to show you all at least one or two records because there's a lot of record stealing in this community. And then there's a lot of people stealing family members. Okay, so I'm going to show one of my family members. But before I do that, I just want to provide a little bit of context as to why all this is recently coming out. Okay, so let me first start by talking to these so-called Black people. For anyone struggling with this information, okay, if you know, you know, there's always been a running joke in the Black community, especially back in the day, where if you had a certain texture of hair or if your cheekbones were if your cheekbones were high, or if, you know what I mean, you had a certain skin tone, you'd hear people saying things like, oh, I got a little Indian in my family. That's why I got this hair. That's why I got these cheekbones. We got a little Indian in us. That was a running joke back in the day, but really and truthfully, there was truth behind it. Okay. I specifically, my family is from the Southeast. All right. We're from the Southeast. We're from North Carolina. We're from Virginia. We're from South Carolina. Those are the major places where my specific family on both sides come from. Okay. And upon my research, once all this started coming out, like people knowing, my family has always known about the Indian in our family. Okay. They've always known about it. My grandmother passed at 96 years old, and she stood on that her grandmother, okay, was not her grandmother, her great grandmother was Cherokee. She stood on that. And my grandmother was a Christian woman. Okay. She was a woman of Christ, and she didn't have no reason to lie. All right. I've always believed her. My mother's always believed her. There was no reason to lie about that. Okay. She never once denied her Blackness, but she always spoke on things her grandmother did, her great grandmother did, and was able to do. All right. Her grandmother taught her many ways of farming. Her grandmother taught her so many indigenous medicines and things like that that she's passed on to us. There's so much that my grandmother showed us that for me was proof of her indigenousness. Okay. But I started doing my own research. I didn't just take hearsay for anybody that's like, oh, anyone can say that. I did my own research, and I have found hundreds of records proving that my family, true in fact, are indigenous. Many of them identified as Cherokee. I have some family on my grandmother's dad's side that are Occaneechi Saponi. Okay, they were found in those areas of Person County, North Carolina, Orange County, North Carolina. They were Indians. Okay, and the biggest thing you always hear people say is, "Oh, well, I think I have Indian in my family. My grandmother was an Indian." Well, if your grandmother was an Indian, then who are you? How are you not Indian if your grandmother was an Indian, right? So that's why you all are seeing so much resurgence of information about the Indian. And if you really do research, you will realize that most of our people back in the day were Indians. They were claiming Indians. If you go on the census records from the 1800s, you will see where they were classified as Indians. And if you want to go a little deeper so that you can figure out, okay, maybe these people were lying, go look at some of the countries that came over here, like Germany specifically. They have places of worship that actually show the American, all right, the American from the 1500s as being a dark skinned, black looking, black presenting person. Okay. Look at this man here. Now, this statue is found in a museum in Virginia. I can't think of the name of it. I will leave information in my little comments. But this is known as a cigar store. Indian, other people have found that he is Chief Powhatan of the Powhatan Confederacy, which is the father of Pocahontas. Take a good look at this man. Look at his features. Look at his structure. This is very black presenting, right? Okay. We're not lying about what we are finding. We're not digging out the side of our asses and coming up with this information, attempting to take someone else's race. When I say that everybody wants to be us, I'm literally not trying to come from a place of thinking that we're above anything. I mean, literally everybody, okay, wants to be us. They want to be black. It's simple as that. You may not want the black experience, but you like how we do stuff. You like our music. You like how we play sports. You like how we build. You like us, okay? Our influence is everywhere. So explain to me what would make us want to change our identity to go be someone else and why. It's lit to be black. We're literally going through our records and finding that who we really are, okay? And I'm going to be making more videos about this. Again, I'm going to be showing a couple of my own family records, but I'm going to tread lightly with that because I don't have to prove to anybody on TikTok with my records who I am. I know who I am. I know that I'm an indigenous woman to this country. I have been all through my records all the way to the 1400s, and I haven't found any Africans. Now, that's not to say that I don't have any Africans in my bloodline. That's not what I'm saying. I just haven't found it in the records, okay? But what I have found is that 80% of my people have Indian records. They have land patents. They have freedmen records, okay? A lot of them are identifying as their tribes. They are in the areas where the tribes were. I even have a family member that was on the Trail of Tears, and no, they weren't slaves. That's a whole nother video. We were taught that the majority of our family members as so-called black people were slaves, and that's another thing that was a big lie. If you go through your family records, start on Ancestry, you're not going to find many slaves. More on this in my next few videos. Stay tuned.